What's up guys, welcome back to another video.
What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Yeah, he's got some fight, let him go a bit.
Oh, that's a nice looking fish.
Oh man, now that is a nice fish.
Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to be doing a fly shop review of the shops here local to me in Calgary. Now, although I do have some followers that are not from this city, it is a great video to watch if you ever plan on visiting because we do have a great fishery. I also want to give you guys a huge tip when buying flies. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video. Alright, so I can't do absolutely every fly shop in Calgary. That video would be way too long. So instead, I'm gonna do 5 shops. I'll be doing fishtails, O.F.F, fly fishing gear, Bow River Troutfitters, Iron Bow, and Bass Pro Cabela's. I'm gonna lump those in together. Alright, so not trying to be jaded, but I just love Bass Pro. So in order to keep this fair, we're gonna have 5 judging criteria. The first is gonna be location. Next one will be fly selection, but we're also gonna add in value to that to make sure we're getting the right value for our money. The third will be gear selection with the same sort of value add. The fourth will be expertise, and the last will be overall vibes. All right, so each fly shop can get a total of 25 points, and we will start. So the first fly shop we're gonna talk about is Fishtails. Now, they have a location right on McLeod Trail. They have quite a big store and a huge selection of both flies and gear. Now, with that being said, location, I'm giving them a 4 out of 5 because it's right on McLeod. It's in the south, so it's nice and close to me. I pass it all the time, so it's easy to access. In terms of fly selection, I also give it a 4. It could be better because I feel like they really mark up their flies. Some of them are $4 or $5 a fly, and that's really hurting the wallet. The next is the gear selection. Now, I'm gonna give that a 4 out of 5 because it's probably one of the best gear selections in our city right now, just because of the amount of gear they have. It's not a 5 out of 5 because, again, I think it's just so expensive, the gear they have in that shop. In terms of expertise, I'm giving them a 4 out of 5 as well. And I feel like this all depends on who you talk to and what kind of fishing you're into. But a lot of the older guys might seem hard to talk to, kind of standoffish, but I've had really good contact with some of the younger guys at the shop who are always really friendly and wanting to ask basically what I've been up to. And the last criteria for Fishtails is vibes. Now, I'm gonna hit them with a 3 out of 5 on this one, only because every time I go in there, there's always no music, it's silent, and it feels quite awkward when you're walking around. Now, feels like the whole shop's kind of looking at you, and if you're nervous or new to the sport or don't quite know what you're doing, it can be quite daunting to just be in a silence like that. So not terribly great vibes, but all around I'm giving Fishtails a 19 out of 25, so pretty good. The next shop we're gonna do is O.F.F fly fishing. So this is just off Southland. Now, in terms of the location, it's not bad. It's pretty south in the city. I give that a 4 out of 5 as well. It's pretty easy to get to, especially if you're on Deerfoot or McLeod. In terms of fly selection, they do have quite a large one. I give that a 4 out of 5 as well. They have a couple sides, a bunch of drawers, so you can usually find what you're looking for. In terms of the gear selection, they don't have a shop as big as Fishtails, so I'm giving that a 3 out of 5. In terms of their expertise, I'm giving them a 3 out of 5 as well. I've been in there a few times, and there are some young guys in there that almost seem like they kind of flex and don't necessarily know what they're talking about, so that's why I'm hitting them with that. And the last criteria is vibes again, so I'm giving them a 3 out of 5 just because of that same sort of reason. It feels kind of awkward, it's very small. So in total, we are giving O.F.F a 17 out of 25. Not bad, but behind Fishtails. Next, we have Bow River Troutfitters. Now, this is right downtown, so in terms of location, I'm giving it a 3.5. Most of you guys might work downtown or cross by downtown often, so it might rank higher on your list, but given the location for Bow River, a 3.5. In terms of fly selection, it's quite good, giving it a 4 out of 5, no problem with it. In terms of gear selection, Comparable to O.F.F, it's a smaller location, so it doesn't have as much as Fishtails, but it's not bad selection. I will be giving that a 3 out of 5. In terms of expertise, I give it a 3.5 out of 5 because again, it depends who you're talking to. It's gone through a couple different managers of the shop, but usually they know what they're talking about. In terms of vibes, I give it a 3.5 out of 5 because they usually have music playing, it's downtown, it's good vibes. The river's basically a stone's throw away from the shop, so it's good vibes. All right, the next shop we'll be evaluating is Iron Bow. Now, they're a bit more north of the city, so because of that, I'll be giving it a 3.5 out of 5. I don't frequent this shop very often because of its location, so that's why I'll be getting that score. In terms of fly selection and gear, it is a larger shop than the previous two I've talked about, so I give it a 3.5 for both of them. In terms of expertise, I also give it a 3.5 because it's very subjective. In terms of vibes, I do like that it's a bit larger. It has an area to walk around, so I give that a 4 out of 5. So in total, we have 18 out of 25 for Iron Bow. Now, the last shop I have to review is Bass Pro or Cabela's. We're lumping them in together. They're pretty close to each other and virtually identical with their offerings. So in terms of location, gotta hit them with a 3 out of 5. They're way north of the city. Unless you live up there, it's basically a trek. Takes some time to get to. So I'm giving that a 3 out of 5. In terms of the fly selection, they also are lacking quite a bit. They don't have the flies that all the fly shops have. It looks like they probably order from a huge manufacturer and they're not too selected very well. Unless, and this is a big unless, I do buy my worms from there because they have those little squiggly red wire worms that work killer on the bow. So I buy my worms from Bass Pro. In terms of gear selection, they have a large selection of gear for a great price. Now, I give this a 4 out of 5 because of that reason. Now, it might not have all the main name brands, but they give you a lot of gear for great prices. In terms of the expertise, I gotta hit them with a 3 out of 5 because usually there's not too many people around the fly shop area. If you do talk to someone in fishing, they usually know quite well what they're talking about, but again, it's hard to get in contact with them. And the last pillar for this criteria is vibes. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the video, which might have jaded my opinion of it, but I love Bass Pro. So, I know it's not allowed, but I am giving Bass Pro an 8 out of 5 in terms of vibes. I could just walk around there for hours and just look at the fish thinking how I would try to just jig my way, how I would toss a San Juan worm in there and pull out a Goliath. So with that being said, I'm giving Bass Pro a 21 out of 25, with Bass Pro being the winner only because of its vibes. So it all depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for gear on a budget, you gotta go to Cabela's. If you're looking for a large selection of name brands, you gotta go to Fishtails. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, a huge tip for you guys is that if you're not worried about timing, I've ordered off a couple online websites for flies and they are amazing quality for a third of the price of any of these fly shops. Now, I don't want to take money out of these fly shops' hands, but they're also Canadian companies. One of them is out east and one of them is in Edmonton. So the names of these companies is called trickflies.ca or realflies.ca. Now, both of them I've ordered off and they take about a week to get the flies in, but it's the exact same quality and it's for a third the price. So instead of going into the fly shop and dropping $100, I'm basically spending $30 for the same amount of flies. Again, it's if you know what you're looking for, I would buy them online. If you're looking for some of that expertise, I would go into the shop. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this little fly shop review and it gave you some insight as to where to go when. If you did, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and until next time, tight lines.